Welcome to the Book Dormer. As you may have noticed, I am not an old man with a gigantic beard. I am the daughter. And today I am doing my quarterly book reviews. That covers January, February, and March books I have read, including the ones that I DNF'd over like halfway through or so. So, let's get started. Okay, we are first starting with the January reads. First was a Christmas novel that I didn't finish in time, so it continued over into 2024. It is The Holiday Switch by Tiff Marcello. This is where Leela, a high school student, soon going into med school, is trying to get more hours to, afford med school since student debt is very annoying. But her boss's nephew comes into town, and her boss won't let her get any hours added on to what she already does. But even worse, her boss makes her train this guy. This guy's name is Teddy, and he is very infuriating. He wants to mess up literally everything she does. He wants to run the store completely differently, reorganize the merch section, completely messed up. By the way, they work at an in-gift shop, which is themed by a fictional movie and book, Holiday by the Lake, where the movie was shot at, where the inn is. So, but worst thing for Leela is that Teddy doesn't even know what that is. He hasn't read the book, he hasn't watched the movie, he hasn't done anything. Also, a pretty cool, side thing, Leela runs her own anonymous book blogging thing, and I think that's pretty cool because, we all love a main character who likes to read or has very good hobbies and interests. A good thing about this book is, the characters have their own hobbies, which, like I just said. But, I don't know. I just didn't find the characters very relatable. Also, I don't know. I just don't like Christmas books or Hallmark movies, I guess. So that was kind of dumb on my part. But, anywho, I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. Next, you're going to hear this book a lot coming up. This is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I'm not going to get too deep into this because we're filming a video about this soon. But basically, this kid named This kid named Robin Swift, his mom died, and he's just stuck in China. But this professor named Professor Lovell comes in just randomly one day, and he's like, "Oh, I'm taking you back to England." And he makes him study, for hours on end each day, Latin, Greek, random things. And then he's like, "Oh, you're gonna go to Oxford, where I work." And he makes him work for, the Royal Institute of Translation and to study to, be able to work for that. Because Oxford has silver bars that are, magical, and they make things work based off of, translations. And while in the translation academy thing, he meets 3 other friends who are the only people in his grade for that, which is Rami, Victoire, and Letty. However, Oxford isn't as good as it always seems, because there's a shady rebellion that is trying to convince Robin to join them to steal silver bars for them. And now Robin has to decide, who is he going to work for? Who is he going to have to decide his loyalties for? However, how amazingly interesting this book seems, it was not. The first half, I think I've read textbooks that were more interesting than this. However, the last half, that was a pretty good writing. Wow. But the first half, oh my god. That was not necessary. That was a lot of description and repetitiveness over and over and over again. And I get you want to emphasize that kids have to work very hard and have to study a lot. But oh my god, that was unnecessary. Like, maybe you could have summed that down into like 20 pages. Like, oh my god. But anywho, good things. It has a very pretty cover. There's actually a different cover out there that's like a lot prettier than this one. So shame on you, Dad. You got the ugly cover.
Sorry.
Anywho, also the setting is like really great. Like the description. I've been wanting to go to Oxford for like a while, and yeah, this just made me want to go more. Other than the fact that in this book there are like a bunch of racist jerks, but I don't. That's the past, hopefully. But I'm giving this a 3.75 out of 5. The reason it is so high is just because of the last half, but oh my god, the first half. Okay, the next book is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the sequel to A Court of Thorns and Roses, and A Court of Thorns and Roses is about a girl named Feyre. She kills a wolf, which is actually a fairy, and a high fae comes after her and quite literally kidnaps her and is like, you have to stay in the fairy world because you killed a fae, but I'm allowing you to stay with me because if you don't, you will be killed. So, interesting. But then Feyre finds out that things aren't what they seem. It's an enemies to lovers book, which everyone loves enemies to lovers. But the second book, I'm actually not going to say anything about the second book. That's spoilers. We don't spoil anything here. That's a big no-no. But I gave this... Oh, I forgot what I gave this. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. I didn't like it as much as the first book. Well, actually, they're kind of equal though. I felt like there was like parts in this book where it just felt like it was like long and boring and nothing was happening, despite like both books being like action packed, I guess. But I enjoyed both. Okay. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. I had to write an essay on a college-bound book for English class, and I chose Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Literally, look at this cover. Like, oh my god, that is so pretty, and it's pink, and it has roses everywhere. It has food on me, which is food on it. Actually, it's a drink, but who cares? It was for like a reading challenge I was doing. But anywho, despite this, it is nothing like the Disney version. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. But basically, Alice, a 7-year-old, follows a white rabbit down the rabbit hole, and she goes on these random adventures. Thing that was really bad for me, there was literally no character development whatsoever, and the ending was really lame. So I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. And Through the Looking Glass, if you thought it could not get worse, it got worse. Like, how are you worse than Babel? No offense to R.F. Kuang. She is a good writer. Just, I don't know what happened with Babel. But, anywho, there was so much poetry. And I was going through, like, a poetry phase thing in English class. Like, and I had enough poetry. And this was, like, basically abuse to me. And then there were, like, chess references. I don't really play chess much. I mean, I do sometimes. But I was like, this is too much chess for, like, anyone. So, yeah. I also recommend for you to not read this right after Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Everything will start to blur. And that sucked for me because I had to write an essay on the first one, and I was like, you're kidding. Anyhow, I'm giving Through the Looking Glass a 3 out of 5. Next book, Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I'm so sad. I got the ugly cover. The other cover is like pink and it's so pretty. It has the character on it. And then this just looks like kind of lame. But anywho, it's a Cinderella retelling where there are these lunars, alien things from the moon, and they're trying to take over Earth basically. And there's like a deadly disease going after literally everyone. And Cinder is like part cyborg. And cyborgs are being being kidnapped for like testing, I guess. But for like testing for like the deadly disease to try to come up with a cure, except they all die. And this sucks because Cinder is going to like the junkyard because she's a mechanic. Yes, we love women in STEM. And her sister comes with her and she gets a deadly disease, the deadly disease. And she's like shipped off to like the quarantine section. So her evil stepmom literally sends her to go get tested, like against her own will. And then she somehow survives. And this is like the first person ever to survive from the testing. Meanwhile, you have Prince Kai, whose dad has the disease, and he's like desperately trying to look for a cure. And then you have Cinder. So that book, I don't know. I didn't really get it much. I mean, I understood what's happening. I just didn't really feel like any connection to like the characters, like at all. Um, yeah. Basically, main character in STEM. That's pretty cool. But after that, I don't really know what to say. It didn't really stand out to me. But it's a 4 out of 5. It wasn't horrible. So that's good, I guess. Next, The Martian by Andy Weir. Where? I have no clue how to say his name. Anyway, I DNF'd this. This is literally my second time DNFing this book. Straight up DNF'd this because I didn't read it for like a week and then the bookmark fell out and I was like too lazy to try to find where it was again. I did watch the movie to it though. The movie was good. But basically, this guy named Mark Watney is an astronaut and he gets left on Mars because his whole like crew think he's dead and they just like leave Mars without him and he has to find a way to survive on Mars by himself. It's very interesting because you get to see him do like things like make water and set a lot of things on fire. And it was fun. I was very interested in it. And then I just wasn't. I don't know why I wasn't. I guess I got kind of bored. Yeah. Kind of felt very repetitive and boring to me. I don't know. But I don't rank my DNF books. And another one that I don't have. This is They Both Die in the End by Adam. I can't read my own handwriting. Help. By Adam Silvera, I think. I know this book is like really popular, but I did not finish it. Basically, there's this huge thing called Death Cast, and they call people the day they're going to die. It was like, hey, you're gonna die today. Womp womp. Too bad for you. And this follows two characters, Mateo and Rufus, who have like basically opposite personalities, and they both find each other on the day they're going to die, and they decide to become besties and spend their last day together. But they're both going through like really rough things with like Mateo's dad being in the hospital and Rufus running away from the police. So that's something. I listened to this on an audiobook. It was kind of boring, like really boring. but it was like sad at times, but still like it was sad, but I was like, okay, too bad, but like I don't really care. So I DNF'd it. Yeah. I got it spoiled for me though, so that was kind of sad. But that is it for January. Let's move on to February. The first book I read in February was If You Could See the Sun by Annie Liang, I think. Alice is a high school girl. She is the top of her class. She's a perfectionist. She has good grades and basically absolutely amazing. But she has her academic rival named Henry, and he is also the top of the class. And he's very, very annoying. And everyone loves him because he's just so charming and blah, 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 blah. And for some reason, everyone likes him. But one day, Alice finds out she turns invisible. Randomly. She can't control this, like, at all. And the first person she goes to help is Henry, because he's all scientific knowing and stuff. But together, they decide to blackmail basically the entire school. Alice finds out. Will you stop laughing? How dare you? I know, he's child abusing me. Anywho, I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, so she basically blackmailed the entire school by turning invisible and selling secrets. And how Henry is involved in this is that he built the entire app for her, and together they become a team and blackmail the entire school. But overall, this book, I actually really did like it, except Henry. Henry, he just seemed very basic. He's like basic, but he had rich boy trauma, basically. You know what I mean when you read like enough books with like rich high school guys, and then they're like, oh, my parents don't give me enough attention. Something. And it's like literally the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, oh my god, we get it. But anyhow, I actually found the main character relatable when it came to like schoolwork and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a 4.25 out of 5 for me. Now, the next two books. Oh my gosh, it's actually so heavy. Ow. Literally, look how thick that is. Oh my gosh. This is Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline by, oh my gosh, I didn't put the author on there. By H.D. Carlton? I literally can't pronounce anything. Oh my gosh. H.D. Carlton. Oh my gosh. Basically, somehow, someone invented a whole book series where there are books dirtier than Sarah J. Maas books. I didn't know that was possible, but it is. Basically, there's an author named Adeline, and she's like super pretty, and is this guy. We're gonna call him Z because that's kind of what he goes by, I guess. And he's basically stalking her. That's like the entire plot. And that's like really creepy and weird. This is a dual POV book, and we see from his POV, he's actually like created this whole like organization to prevent human trafficking and stuff. So he like straight up goes and saves people from like gigantic human trafficking rings. And then he just turns around and stalks this girl and like breaks into her house and things. And I was like, that's creepy. And on the other hand, we have Addie, who is trying to solve what happened to her grandma because she found her grandma's diary. It turns out her grandma, who lived in the exact same house she is currently living in and sleeps in the exact same room that she is sleeping in, also had a stalker, and she was murdered. Which I was like, oh, that's something. So the first one, Haunting Adeline, has a huge cliffhanger at the end. So, I mean, I would say buy both books if you like react horribly to like cliffhangers and feel like you're going to absolutely explode when there's a cliffhanger. Between the two of these, somehow this author was collecting trigger warnings like they're Pokemon. That was something. I'm not gonna say what they are. You know, there's something called Google, so you can Google it. So the first one, Haunting Adeline, put it like a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, I don't know. I only read this book series because I accidentally bought the second one. And also the covers were pretty. However, the second one is a 4 out of 5 for me. Honestly, this book was like 2 times dark. Oh my gosh, 2 times darker than the first book. And there was like a lot of character development because something happened to like the first character, to the main character. And I mean, I didn't really like think about what would happen to people who are like who have to deal with the dark thing that she has to deal with, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, kind of mind blowing to me. Not really, but yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it. Next is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. I have no clue. Anywho, this is a memoir, so you know I already DNF'd this. This book is about a neurosurgeon who finds out he has lung cancer. And I kind of read this because I heard he literally died while writing the book and his wife had to finish it for him. So we go through like his life and how he found out he had brain cancer, and we get to go through his like training in medical school. And I found out what happened to dead bodies that are donated to science. And that was like kind of traumatizing? Not really. I'm kidding. Although it is weird sitting in math class reading a book and you're like, I was not expecting to read about people getting chopped up by saws, even if they're dead. But I was like, this is a memoir. But okay. Yeah, I DNF'd it, so I didn't rank it. The next book is recommended by the same booktuber, Never Trusting This Guy Again. This is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawagachi. This is a time travel book where you have to drink all your coffee before the coffee gets cold, or else bad things will happen. There's a lot of specific rules to this, and it's in one cafe. But because of these specific rules, there's like basically no one wanting to travel back in time. You have to time travel in this cafe, which only lets one person a day go back in time, and you can only go back to that cafe. So you can't like, if the person you want to see back in time hasn't visited that cafe, then you're kind of screwed. It's had like that memoir voice. I hate memoir voice. Like, oh my god, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, blah blah went for a walk today. Oh my god. Ah. Yeah, basically that. And I hate memoir voice so much. So I DNF'd it. I mean, I liked it while I was reading it, but I can like never think about picking it back up again. I mean, the plot sounds interesting. And there's like other books. I don't know if it's like related to this book too, but the like fourth book, I think, literally it's so pretty. Like the cover is, but I'm not going to buy it because I don't like this book. But that's it for February. So let's go to March. This first book, I wasn't sure if I was going to review it because it's not even out yet. But Goodreads has it set to where you can already review this book, and people have already been putting in reviews. So I'm just going to review it. This is Bite Me, Royce Taslim by Lauren Ho. It's about two track stars who are like rivals to each other. And this girl named Agnes, they're both like top of their track star thing. I don't do track, in case if you were wondering, in case if you couldn't tell. But she gets hit by a car basically. And she like breaks her leg, so she can't like run anymore, And that's really bad because she had a scholarship. So her college scholarship person is like, absolutely not. You're not going to be able to heal in time. So she turns to doing comedy. But when she goes to this stand up comedy thing, turns out Royce is there, who is her track star enemy, and now competing with her for the awesomeness of stand up comedy. I didn't really like this book that much. I mean, it was interesting. It just felt like really repetitive to If You Could See the Sun, the one I like reviewed like earlier in this video. I was like, this is literally like the same setup. But the main character was so annoying. I was like, oh my god. Like, I don't have words to be able to describe how annoying she was. She was basically like destroying herself and everything and anything. And I was like, if you just like shut your mouth, everything would be like 10 times easier for you. But apparently, people just can't keep their mouths shut, apparently. So, anyhow. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say for that book. It's 3.5 out of 5. Mid, basically. Next book I read for book club. This is The Many Half-Lived Lives of Sam Sylvester by Maya McGregor. So this follows Sam. In case if you couldn't tell, wow, how shocking. And they have to go to a new school after this tragic incident that happened to them. And they're kind of scared because their last school was like very homophobic. But as they go to their new school, they're finding out that their school is like not huge jerks. But this book has like a paranormal twist to it. So Sam likes to like study half-lived lives. So basically anyone who dies before the age of 19. And basically they move into a house of someone they've already studied, like, and they have a new friend named Shep, and together they're trying to investigate this murder because although the police say it's not a murder, they're very, very sure that it is a murder. And Sam keeps on getting like these paranormal thingamajigs, like flashbacks or dreams or something. It's like very complicated. I did not get it at all. Where it's like they can see things from the kid's past. And I was like, I don't know. Sam also is autistic. So they have to go through that and like the things that come with that. I can't say stuff without spoiling. Anyhow, this book, I really love the cover of it. I like the colors. It's like purple. I don't really like purple that much, but so pretty. This book actually reminds me so much of Symptoms of Being Human by Jeff Garvin. Like, if basically you took like the whole paranormal fact out of this and just like you yeeted it into the trash, then it's literally the same book, I swear. So I gave it, what did I give it? A 3.5 out of 5. I was like, I can't see my ratings. I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, next book. This is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have to write an essay on this right now, but I'm procrastinating. Yay! Oh, hold up. I just looked at the back and I just realized they spelled Faye F-E-Y. What? Anyhow, this book starts off with Jude having her parents murdered when she is 7 years old. This is because her older sister is related to the murderer. the murderer, aka Maddox, is her dad. And her mom basically ran away with the baby, which is her older sister, and he came hunting them down. So Jude, her twin sister Taryn, and her older sister are all brought back to the Fae world. An issue with that is humans are like discriminated against with the Fae. The Fae hate the humans, basically. So this flashbacks, like, well, flash forwards, I guess, to the present, where it's like 10 years later, and June wants to become a knight to like prove that she's strong and that humans aren't trash. Oh my god, it's my dog. Okay, anywho, back to the book review. So, there's this guy named Cardin. He's a fairy. He's a fairy? Fae? Fairy? I don't know. Anywho, she wants to win a place at the court, so she wants to become a knight. But Cardin, he's a prince. So, he's Prince Cardin, he's son of the king, and he's an absolute jerk. He goes to the same like classes as Jude, and he tells her that she cannot become a knight because bad things will happen, and she has to like defy him and his evil friends who are Valerian, Nicasia, and Locke. And bad things happen because she's trying to like go against them, and this like risks if she wants to like help save her sister who's also getting bullied by them, like Taryn, her twin sister. And she has to like decide, should she choose her own fate, or if she should she choose to like put time into being a knight, like trying to become that, or should she like go and protect Taryn from those jerk faces. Anywho, somehow this is a romantasy. How shocking. I read romantasy. Totally shocking. I know. Anywho, the romance in this literally made no sense to me. It's like these people come from being enemies to literally lovers within like 0.2 seconds. And I'm like, this is not how that works. I'm like, what? No. No. My dog's looking at me. He is so cute. Oh my gosh. Anywho, I like the world it's in, I guess. The romance still doesn't make sense to me. I literally cannot get over the fact. I'm like, it don't be making sense. Although I like the character development in this. And the character development is absolutely amazing. And I love it so much. But the romance doesn't make sense. Oh my god, it's still I'm just gonna move on from this book because I will actually spend 10 years complaining about this. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 or somewhere around there. I literally didn't write the rating again. Next, I listened to this audiobook. It is XOXO by Axio. I only listened to this because my friend kind of forced me to. I listened to this on 2 times speed, which I know some people are like, absolutely not. That is terrible. You're cheating. I don't care. The narrator was talking too slow. There are 2 types of people I hate, other than completely jerks. People who walk slow, and people who talk slow. It's like, oh my god, hurry up. But anyhow, I feel like if you can comprehend what's happening, then you're good. That counts. But this girl named Jenny, she's a cello player, celloist. I don't play the cello. I play the bass. The bass is so much better. But she is going to South Korea for school because her grandma is getting a surgery, and her mom was about to ditch her, but she didn't want to have to go months without seeing her mom. So she decides to go to Seoul with her mom. But before she leaves, she sees this guy named Jaewoo, and he's like a mysterious person. He's being all weird and stuff, but she challenges him to a singing competition since he won't leave her uncle's karaoke bar or whatever. And turns out, she finds this out months later when she's going to her school in Seoul, that guy is a K-pop idol. And he just debuted his song, and his like band thing is called XOXO, and they're like really famous and everything. And huge plot twist, he goes to her school. Wow, how shocking. And also, two of other members go to that school. So this book kind of has like a love triangle vibe to it, but it doesn't. This book is like good for people who like K-pop, I guess. I don't listen to much K-pop. I listen to like quote unquote basics K-pop, which like my friends make fun of me for that, but I kind of just listen to like some BTS, some Blackpink, Hypen, New Jeans, kind of that. So really basic taste in K-pop. So I don't listen so much. So I don't know. I didn't really get it, but 3.5 out of 5. It's kind of basic. Next is one of my favorite books, like so far this quarter. Is currently tied with another book. This is I Hope This Doesn't Find You Well by Annie Liang. This is the same author who wrote, oh my gosh, dog viewing. Oh my gosh. This is the same author who wrote If You Could See the Sun. And I love this book so much. It's academic rivals yet again. And hi. Sadie is at the top of her class, tied with this guy named Julius. And they both literally hate each other, and he's charming, and he like kind of swoons over everyone, and like everyone thinks he's so amazing, and like Sadie puts in so much effort, so this like pisses her off so much. And to like have to deal with people pissing her off, like Julius, hi dog, she writes emails, like replies to emails, or like she writes emails and she saves them in her drafts. And this is how she like vents her emotions instead of like, getting diarrhea or going to therapy. I swear to God, if book characters learn how to get to therapy, then I feel like a lot of like book issues would be fixed. But her emails are sent out, and now a bunch of people hate her, including Julius. Now she has to find a way to make it up to everyone. But anywho, it's a love story, I guess. So yeah, basically they kind of fall in love. And I actually like this book so much because unlike like other books that follow this, she has like true hate for this guy. For Julius, she straight up wrote like an email all about how much she wanted to like hope he like chokes and dies. And honestly, that was like so relatable. Because I mean, when people are annoying, you're not like, ugh, I hate him. You like, you have to hate him. You're not like, I hate him, but he's so cute. That's not how things work. If you hate him, you don't like them. You know. So I literally love her so much. I love Sadie so much because like, not only is she like a perfectionist, and I kind of like relate to that because I mean, I actually try in school sort of, and yeah, I love this book so much. It is a 4.5 out of 5 for me. And next, this book I had to read for class, and I had to annotate it. Actually saved me. This is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, I think. Basically, this follows this girl, Esperanza, who's growing up in Chicago, and it's like little vignettes from her life. Honestly, it was like actually really boring until like something traumatizing happened to like one of the characters. It's like, how is the only thing that happened was like things that have like huge trigger warnings? Like my English teacher straight up sent out a message to like all the parents who have like kids reading the book, and she's like, oh, if you don't want your kids reading that blah 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 blah, then yeah, you should probably like tell them not to read it. So I feel like this is a banned book if it isn't already, which kind of makes me want to like bump it up because I like reading banned books because it's fun. And because people who ban books are jerks. Wait, hold up. I think I need to show everyone this. Oh my god, I don't have it on me. Basically, I have this sticker bookmark that literally says ban guns, not books. And I literally love it. And it's so pastel and cute. And there's like rainbows and clouds everywhere. And it's adorable. And I literally like bring it everywhere. And now I can't find it. And now I'm sad. But anywho, this book, I give it a 3 out of 5 because it's kind of boring. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I had to read it for class, and I got like 7 chapters a day, which isn't bad for like normal chapters, for like any other book I read. But that book sucked. Even if the chapters were like 4 pages long, I was like, I'm struggling here. And then we had like these quizzes like every day over it. Ah, that was traumatizing. But anywho, we're gonna move on to another book, which I love so much. Get ready for like the hugest rant you will ever see in your life. This is Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is about a girl named Pip Fitzamobi. Oh, Pippa Fitzamobi, but she goes by Pip. And she's trying to solve a murder in her town that's like 5 years old for her capstone project. And this is a murder about Auntie Belle, who was like the school's golden girl or something. And everyone thinks that she was murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singh, who decided to kill himself literally like a few days later, like after she was like found missing. Not found missing, but you know what I mean. And she's going around investigating, she's interviewing people, and she comes along Sal's brother, Robbie, and somehow they become buddies and they go interviewing everyone. And oh my god, this is so good. I listened to both books on audio, and oh my god, I love it so much. It's like the first book, that was a straight up like 5 out of 5 stars for me. And I like never rate books 5 out of 5. Like there's always something wrong with it. But oh my god, this was so good. But the second book, honestly, it didn't like be as good as the first one. But I know that's like hard if you have like a very like high rated book and then you're trying to like write a sequel to it. So it's not like things you can really do to like make it better than the first one. But oh my gosh, there was like little hints in the audiobook, which I mean, yeah, there's like things that happen that's like related to like the first audiobook, but it's like stuff that's like little tiny hints, and it was like so fun. And I told you this is like the biggest rant you're ever gonna hear. So yeah, anywho, I'm just gonna cut it there. This is A Good Girl, Bad Blood was 4.5 out of 5 for me. And okay, I have to move on or else I will be talking forever. The last book that I literally read, I was literally on vacation when I read this. It is Ignite Me by oh my gosh, help. Tahereh Mafi? Taher? I swear to God, I've listened to that audio recording on how to say her name like 15 million times. I cannot do it. Basically, this is the third book in the Shadow Me series. Oh my gosh, ew, there's like something. Ew. Anywho, literally love this. I love Shadow Me so much. Shadow Me is about this girl named Juliet, and she cannot be touched. If you touch her, you die. And so she's locked up in a prison cell for murder, and she's locked in for 264 days until this guy named Adam is locked in there with her, and she's like, who is this creepy dude? But a few days later, she's like dragged out of her prison cell and offered by this guy named Warner to help the reestablishment, which is the thing that basically turned the entire world to boo, like to trash. And he's like, "Oh, you can help us like fight the war, like help the world become a better place." Even though that isn't becoming helping the world become a better place, it is making the world worse. And Warner is the son of the guy who made like this entire thing happen, and he basically also runs like the Sector 45, which is like where Juliet has lived her entire life. So she obviously is like, absolutely not. But turns out that Adam, who was her roommate, is literally a soldier working for Warner. So she's like, what? So basically, they kind of like kidnap her and force her to like work for them. And that's like that, basically. I can't say more without spoiling it. But this is the third book. Basically, most of this book didn't even need to exist. Could have trimmed it down to like 100 pages and added it to the second book. And yeah. It was like so weird though. And I would usually like hate on this. Except I love the characters in this too much. Like, I have a huge connection with these people and I love it. I love them. And yeah. I was like annotating this book and then I annotated the second book. And then I literally like gave up annotating. It was so funny. But even if like most of this book did not need to exist, I still loved it. I still like literally read it within like 2 days, which I feel like I could have read that faster. But I love it. I love this, and I hope to get the fourth book. And yeah, oh my gosh. So that's all the books I read this quarter. I actually didn't like DNF any books in March. Like, actually, someone be proud of me for that because slay. Anywho, that's it. That was a lot of books, and I feel like I talked like forever. And yeah, I hope to see y'all again soon. But now you're gonna be ditched with an old grumpy man who has a beard. Okay, bye!